Hey y'all, it's Melissa here at Twin Oaks Family Farm in rural Southeast Ohio, USA. We have been on a break from YouTube uploads, but we are ready to be back and include you in our small, independent, family-run poultry operation. We're actually going to go in and visit the production reds. We went coastal for a week. We went down to North Carolina to the Outer Banks. Beautiful area. If y'all have ever been there off the coast of North Carolina, if you haven't been there and get an opportunity to go, recommend it. Loved Roanoke Island, Mineo and Watchese, and then down through Nags Head and Hatteras and a lot of small towns down through there. Really cool place. Got to tell you these couple tidbits. We're going to go see the production reds, but I'm going to tell you these tidbits. Chickamaucomico Life Saving Station, if you're into history, that was so cool. If you can go there and visit them, Rodante, North Carolina. If you can't go there and visit, look it up. Chickamaucomico Life Saving Station. It's a historic site. They've preserved buildings there, and they tell the story of the people that worked and served there and were heroes, life-saving heroes. So on down through the Outer Banks from there is the Shipwreck Museum, I think Graveyard of the Atlantic Shipwreck Museum, also fantastic. I'm going to show you something too. You're not really going to be able to see much, but you'll have to kind of imagine beyond the tree line. We've been back from our trip just about not even quite a week yet, and just on the other side of this tree line is actually our neighbor's property. But one of my jobs, I have a lot of jobs, but one of my off-farm jobs is a mile out the road south. And when I was coming back yesterday from that job, my husband and extended family on his side, we are associated with the farm that they've always had. So the combine was sitting over there on that neighbor's property because the neighbor lets them farm the field surrounding it. So the combine was over there, and then today the farm truck, big truck with bales of straw on it was there, had a load of straw ready to go take to a large produce farm. But it's just like, I want to share that feeling with y'all. That's part of why we have this channel. Like, it's just so awesome to feel that connected to the land around you. And that's why, like, when we travel, we love to go places that are like history sites, because that tells you that story of how are the people connected through the generations at that place. So it's just really cool. But let's go see the production reds. I'm so excited, to be seeing my chickens every day, because for a week we had help with taking care of our chickens, and we had awesome help. I'm going to shout out to a young friend of ours, Cooper A. Cooper, of course, you know who you are. I'm talking to you. I hope you watch sometime and get to see this. But Coop watched our chickens while we were away, all these egg production hens, and he did a phenomenal job with watching them. So was really, really super impressed. We also had help from some neighbors down the road, Ryan H. and his kids. They watched the chickens also a couple of days, and then Cooper took care of them the rest of the week. And between all of them, they must have done a fantastic job, because our hens were in excellent condition when we returned home, and they had continued egg production. We had no interruption in that. So really, really grateful to those people, because when you're a farmer or any kind of livestock producer, you can't just leave. You can't just leave home. These are 24-hour a day, 7-day a week, potentially 365 day a year responsibilities. And you can't just leave. There's got to be somebody to come here and take care of their routine. And that's, for me, that's one of the hardest things about being in production agriculture, is just that it never ends. It never ends. Your animals have got to have care all the time. So if you want to go somewhere, you still have to deal with the, down in the trench reality of who's going to take care of them, okay? And it might cost you something to have them taken care of, but it's got to be done. So looking at our girls, production reds. What are production reds? Basically, they're egg production hens. You can see, though, they're egg production hens that have some size to them. These chickens, they're talkative. Hi, sweetheart. You got some stories to tell us? Yeah? So So we're going to talk about a couple things we're seeing here after we tell you what they are. You may already know this, but they are predominantly egg production chickens. We got a couple having a little spat with each other there. See, they sort that out. I'd say, though, here's what's going down back there. Somebody wants that spot. They want to sit there and nest, lay an egg. And there's 2 eggs laid there, and I bet somebody wasn't leaving the egg spot. So anyway, so predominantly egg production chickens. These ones are not quite a year old yet. So in fact, I think they were fall 2023 babies. So they're going to be a year old like in the fall. So they're young, but they are laying eggs. We've already collected eggs out of here once today, and I think we got 15 eggs out of here this morning. There's 32 of these hens. I can see now there's an egg in that corner, and there's 2 eggs back there. So there's 3 eggs still in here. I need to want to get them out before anybody costs the eggs or cracks the eggs or anything. But anyway, really egg production is why we have these girls. I think they have enough size to them. If you wanted more of like a heritage breed, they're not a heritage breed. This is a hybrid. But if you wanted a bird that's more like that could be a dual purpose type bird, I think you could probably use these production reds. I don't think I would, because we prefer the meat from the Cornish short cross meat chickens. But maybe you could. But these birds, they're heavy, pretty heavy bodied. But I don't think they're going to get as heavy bodied as, say, an Orpington or an Australorp. But they're definitely heavier bodied than, say, like those hybridized Isa Browns that we have in our other egg production flock. But these are production reds. They are a hybrid. They are actually a cross between Rhode Island reds and New Hampshire reds. That gets you a production red, okay? So, but beautiful girls. Beautiful girls. Maybe about, I think they were October babies. So November, December, January, February, March, April, May. So pushing 8 weeks here. Or 8, sorry, just ignore I said that. Pushing 8 months old here, okay? So, doing good though. We see their wings are spread out. They do that to create space between their wings and their body to get enhanced airflow there. And why do they do that? Y'all are probably already knowing it, because it's warm. So temperatures are like high 80s here, rural Southeast Ohio, USA. We're recording this on June 13th, 2024. We're going to have some hot days. Our nights are still going to be 60s and 70s, but we're going to have days in the 90s, okay? So when your birds get hot, those are the first 2 indicators you're probably going to see. The open mouth, the panting, and the holding the wings out. You might see increased dust bathing because that helps keep them cool. We've made sure they have food, but we're not going to push them to eat during the hot times of the day. They can make up for what they need to eat in the cooler times of the day. We do make sure they have fresh, clean water. I cleaned waters inside this in the trays and inside the reservoirs this morning, so they have fresh water and clean trays. In fact, there's one dust bathing now. And actually down here where they are, we have their chicken door opening there. And down here where they are, there is air moving around. So that's good. They're getting the benefit of that. We're having one going in a nest box. Okay. So at any rate, so these gals are doing great. Really like this flock of birds, 32 of them. Really like the setup we've got going. We have 10-gallon water capacity, and we have 2 large feeders here, so we can fill those, have a lot of food capacity there. We do have the feeders and waters set up on cinder blocks. I've talked about this before. We believe in this with our meat birds and with our egg production birds. The goal is to get the tray of the feeders and waters raised up to the height of these birds' backs. It does 2 things for us. It helps us prevent waste. They don't knock as much of the food, in particular, out to the floor. You can see they do still knock some out to the floor, but minimal feed waste when we get those trays lifted. And they don't kick as much dust into the trays. And that's especially important to us in the water trays, because it's a high volume dust area anyway. And if those trays are lower, they step in them, kick dust into them. That's yucky. It helps us keep them cleaner if we can raise those trays. So really like this setup and capacity in here with the 32 hens and the 10-gallon of water and the 2 feeders. And then we also do add the feed blocks. So those are just Kalmbach flock blocks. We don't get anything for telling you that they're made by Kalmbach Feed Company. I sure wouldn't mind if they sent some feed my way, especially for my meat birds, but nonetheless, we want y'all to know what we feed. We're satisfied with it. In the meat birds, we feed a Kalmbach start to finish 22%, but in our egg birds, we actually feed the house mix of our favorite feed mill, Beverly Feed and Equipment. So whether sometimes we take our own corn in, ask them to grind it and mix their hen supplement into it, which makes it a complete feed for our hens, or we get it from them, you know, ready-made where they've used somebody else's corn as the grain base for it. But it is a complete feed for our hens, and we just call it layer mash, and that's what they get. And it's like a real fine mash consistency, okay? So that's what they eat. But we add the flock blocks because that's kind of some variety for them, some snack for them. We like that with the 2 feeders, they've got lots of room to have access to the feeders. But then if the feeders are kind of full and one wants to peck at the flock blocks, they've got that opportunity too. So they've got plenty of access and plenty of resources in here. But the girls are doing real good. I'm not sure what this girl's got going on. And I'm telling you, I'm going to check into this. I'm curious about. You see how she's walking this wall? She may stop now, but she was pacing back and forth on that wall. And she's actually looking between the cracks in the wood interior siding. Makes me wonder, is she keen on, is there something in there? Because on the outside of that wall, there's metal. See, you can see at the top, metal on the outside, wood on the inside. Is there a snake back there in that space? Is there a mouse? I don't know, but she's keen on something. And you know, hens will actually, they'll kill mice. I haven't seen one go after a snake, but I suppose anything is possible. So anyway, we'll see. I might investigate that a little bit more today. But I'm going to gather these eggs that are in here. We're going to sign off. And before we go, I'm going to tell you another couple places. We were going down to Outer Banks and coming back to from Outer Banks. We stopped at Mount Airy, North Carolina. Tell you a couple places down there, top notch to us. We loved them. Going down, we stopped at Snappy Lunch in Mount Airy, North Carolina. Had lunch there. Look them up online. Check them out if you're ever in North Carolina, USA, in the western part of it. Maybe see if you can go to Mount Airy and eat at Snappy Lunch. And then coming home, we stopped at a place called Rusty Rooster. Rusty Rooster. We're the chicken mafia of Southeast Ohio. Of course, we're going to check out the restaurant called the Rusty Rooster. But we ate at the Rusty Rooster in Mount Airy, North Carolina, coming home. It was also thumbs up from us. So thanks for joining me on Twin Oaks Farm Poultry on YouTube. Please like the video. We hope you love it with a thumbs up. Please subscribe to our channel. We're working toward 1,000+ subscribers. We finally broke 900 not too long ago, and we're just really excited to share our passion for producing great food and share our small, independent, family-run poultry operation with all of you through our YouTube channel.